The ratings are in for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite, and it's not good news for AEW, with the lowest total viewership since January 2021 and the lowest 18 to 49 demographic since June of 2020. Plenty of details on that. Plus, the Uncle Howdy Twitch stream took place yesterday, and some very interesting and sinister teases played out during the broadcast. AEW announces the Path to All-In Summer Series taking place from one location in Arlington, Texas. A Jon Moxley IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator match has been added to Double or Nothing. Iva reportedly was injured this past week on NXT. Which night will NXT be airing on when it moves to the CW network later on this year? We'll let you know. And the Ring of Honor star reportedly is dealing with concussion issues. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about the ratings for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's not good news for All Elite Wrestling. With just 10 days until Double or Nothing, AEW is likely hoping to draw big numbers with their television product in anticipation of their next pay-per-view. However, according to WrestleNomics, this week's AEW Dynamite saw historically low viewership ratings, with the lowest non-preemption overall viewership since January 6, 2021. Wednesday's Dynamite drew in 672,000 viewers on average, a 5% drop from last week's episode and an 18% drop from the same time last year. The numbers for the esteemed 18 to 49 demographic were similarly negative, as the 0.23 rating represented a 4% decrease from last week and a whopping 20% decrease from the same week in 2023. The latest ratings are consistent with the broader decline that AEW has been enduring for the last month or so, ever since the NBA playoffs began on April 20. Dynamite is now averaging less than 700,000 viewers for over the past 4 weeks, after averaging nearly 780,000 viewers over the previous 7. While much of AEW's recent viewership drop-off can be attributed to competition from other sports programs, the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer also attributes the fall from ratings grace to a decline in viewers aged 18 to 34 specifically, who are more perceptive to trends and fads. Now, when it comes to the 18 to 49 demographic, the total viewership and the quarter-hour ratings, we can get a closer look at this courtesy of WrestleNomics. So shout out to them, and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. You can see the quarter-hour ratings right there. As usual, Dynamite's first quarter hour was also its overall high for the evening. Viewership in the 18 to 49 category peaked just 45 minutes later, when Hook made short work of the Canadian wrestler Sebastian Wolf before confronting Chris Jericho. The main event between Kazuchika Okada and Dax Harwood was the lowest rated quarter hour overall, while the match between the Young Bucks and Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal saw the lowest numbers from the 18 to 49 crowd. The numbers did increase somewhat in the show's near 15-minute overrun, both overall and in the 18 to 49 demographic. So what do you make of these ratings numbers for AEW Dynamite this week? What do you think Tony Khan can do to resolve this problem? Or is this just where AEW is going to be right now? The days of 1 million viewers for Dynamite are gone. And is it always going to be 700,000, 600,000, 800,000 at best? Let me know your thoughts and reaction to all of it in the comment section below. Now, many people had their eyes looking at WWE's Twitch channel yesterday, and for very good reason. Now, this is very interesting, and it actually tells quite a long-term story here, because on the 16th of July 2020, the WWE on Fox YouTube channel released a video of The Fiend Bray Wyatt attending a therapy session with a psychiatrist named Rachel Bonnetta, who attempted to provoke Wyatt into speaking. Unfortunately for Bonnetta, her efforts were interrupted by a brief electricity blackout that resulted in Wyatt taking her place in the nearby chair, while Bonnetta mysteriously disappeared. 4 years later, Bonnetta has now been found, albeit under a different name, alongside a cinematic recap of the Wyatt-related clues recently supplied by WWE. Thursday afternoon, a new 55-minute WWE Twitch video opened with snippets from the July 8, 2013 episode of Monday Night Raw, which notably served as the main roster debut of the Wyatt family. About 2 minutes in, however, the stream began to dramatically glitch before revealing an empty chair. The seat was later occupied by the aforementioned psychiatrist Rachel Bonnetta, who appeared under the name of Wendy Lucho, a missing woman, in a series of images linked to a QR code seen on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Throughout the Twitch video, Bonnetta can be seen conferring with an unidentified client that later indicates that they finally found their true purpose and family. As the conversation between client and psychiatrist progresses, flashes of QR codes emerge, routing back to several previous clues and messages reportedly connected to a new Uncle Howdy / Bray Wyatt themed stable. While the debut date of this new faction remains unknown, the united gathering of these clues suggests that their debut may be rather imminent and possibly occurring on the Raw brand, where the original Wyatt family began their main roster story in WWE. Here's how this stream ended and possibly provided a tease of what this new look Uncle Howdy could possibly look like.
Who are these people?
No more to lift these weary.
So, what do you make of the ending of that stream? What do you make of all of this Uncle Howdy teases that we've seen over the last few weeks? Let me know your reaction to it. Where do you think this new faction is going to debut? When do you think they're going to debut? Let me know your thoughts about all of it in the comment section below. Now, let's talk about a big announcement from AEW yesterday, because following a new announcement, AEW have revealed their upcoming path to All In Summer Series ahead of this summer's pay-per-view. On Sunday, August 25th, All Elite Wrestling will be returning to Wembley Stadium for the second All In pay-per-view in London, England. With the huge event coming this summer, the company has announced a special summer series for AEW Collision ahead of All In. According to the Dallas News, AEW and the city of Arlington, Texas, announced a historic partnership that will feature AEW Collision coming to the eSports Stadium for their Path to All-In Summer Series ahead of this summer show. The post reads as follows, quote, "As first reported by Dallas News, AEW and the city of Arlington today announced a historic partnership that will feature AEW hosting a summer series of events on the Path to All-In from eSports Stadium in Arlington beginning Saturday, July 20. Now, this will see the July 20 and 27, as well as the August 1st, 10 and 17 AEW Collision tapings coming to Arlington's eSports Stadium. Also, Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor on July 26 will take place at the same location. This is the first time AEW will hold multiple events at one location across a whole month since their stint at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida during the pandemic. So what do you make of this? Do you think this is a smart move by AEW? Do you think this is a bad move by AEW? How do you think the ticket's going to sell involved in all of this? Let me know your thoughts and reaction to it in the comment section below. Now, Double or Nothing is coming up next weekend, and Jon Moxley has a match announced for the pay-per-view. AEW CEO Tony Khan has announced that current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley will have an eliminator match at the upcoming AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Moxley will face off against Konosuke Takeshita at the pay-per-view, which will be held on May 26. A win for the Japanese star will earn him a future shot at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which has been around Moxley's waist since New Japan's Windy City Riot show last month, where he defeated Tetsuya Naito. The match between Moxley and Takeshita was set up after the latter attacked the former on this past week's AEW Dynamite, following the Blackpool Combat Club's win against Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher. Takeshita, who was a part of DDT Pro Wrestling in Japan since the start of his career, has never held a title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Moxley and Takeshita have faced each other twice in singles matches so far, both coming in 2022 and both won by the former. The first meeting between the two was in fact a world title eliminator match when Moxley was the AEW Interim World Champion. So far, 7 matches have been announced for Double or Nothing 2024, with 6 titles on the line at the show. AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland will defend his title against former AEW TNT Champion Christian Cage, while AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm will face Serena Deeb. Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné will run it back once again, having previously faced each other in New Japan last year, but this time Nightingale will walk in the champion and defend her AEW TBS Championship. AEW TNT Champion Adam Copeland is scheduled to face Malachi Black in a barbed wire glass steel cage match for the TNT title, while Roderick Strong, the current AEW International Champion, will go one-on-one with Will Ospreay with the title on the line. The Anarchy in the Arena match, which has become a staple of Double or Nothing shows, will once again feature on the pay-per-view with the Elite facing off against Team AEW. Now let's switch gears here and talk about NXT for a little bit, starting off with Iva. The closing moments of this week's NXT episode revealed Wesley, Josh Briggs and Iva to be writhing in pain after being attacked backstage. The camera then panned to the returning trio of Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, collectively known as Gallus, who identified themselves as the assailants. Following this series of beatdowns, WWE is now reporting that Iva, unfortunately, did not walk away unscathed. They tweeted out, quote, "As a result of the heinous attack by Gallus at the end of NXT, Iva has suffered an injury and will be out of action indefinitely." Now, there is currently no word on if Iva's undisclosed injury is legitimate or part of a storyline. Nevertheless, WWE has subsequently made a change to an upcoming match that was slated to involve Iva. Initially scheduled to face Iva in the semi-finals of the WWE Speed Championship #1 Contenders Tournament, Tyler Bate will now be pitted against Apollo Crews. Crews previously lost to Iva in the tournament's opening round. Due to Iva's injury, though, WWE confirmed via X that they have granted Crews a second chance in the hunt to determine the challenger for Ricochet's Speed Championship. So we'll get any updates on that in the future. Of course, we'll let you know. Speaking of NXT, many had wondered what the case was going to be for the night that NXT airs when it moves to the CW later on this year, but now we have some confirmed news on this. Of course, last year it was announced that WWE NXT will move to the CW beginning this October, meaning the show will become the company's only property available on broadcast TV rather than cable or streaming. During yesterday's upfront presentations, the network announced that NXT will remain on Tuesday nights following the move to the CW this fall. Additionally, the show will keep its 8 p.m. time slot. NXT will officially begin airing on the CW in October. A few weeks before that, on September 13, SmackDown will move from Fox to USA Network, while Raw will remain on USA Network through the end of the year before making its leap over to Netflix in 2025. Raw was initially set to depart USA in October, but WWE recently signed a deal to keep the show on the air in the lead-up to its streaming debut. The CW will soon become the third home of NXT after the show initially debuted on WWE Network before moving to USA Network in 2019. Upon its premiere there, NXT first aired on Wednesday nights, directly competing with AEW Dynamite, before the decision was made to move to Tuesday nights instead. And finally, a bit of an update on a Ring of Honor and AEW talent that's been out of action for a little while. Charlotte Renegade, one half of the Renegades tag team in AEW and Ring of Honor, hasn't wrestled in 2024, and the possible reason for her absence has been revealed. As per Fightful Select, Charlotte has had to deal with concussion issues, which is why she hasn't been featured on either AEW or Ring of Honor, while her twin sister Robin has continued to wrestle. The report claims that there is no date set for her return, but is working towards getting better and being cleared to return to the ring. Robin, meanwhile, has wrestled as a single star since her twin sister's concussion. The 24-year-old has wrestled on both Ring of Honor and AEW, even earning a shot at the TBS Championship on Rampage in March, but lost to then-champion Julia Hart. She recently even faced Thunder Rosa on AEW Collision, but lost to the former AEW Women's World Champion. The Renegades, who are former NWA World Women's Tag Team Champions, have been a part of the Ring of Honor roster since March 2023, joining the promotion after featuring in a few AEW Dark shows. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.